me hit the start shading button. Yep, oh, is it working? I think it's working. It says it's going. Okay. You better go. Okay, we're gonna see if it's on. We're going to just go to my channel dashboard. Is it showing up there? Content? What? Live? Is it showing? It is! Oh my god, it's working! Okay. Wow. Okay. So go on to my little spiel. Heyo, friendos. Heyo. So, I'm gonna keep trying to wave. I know the leap motions haven't really. Try waving anyway. Ha ha ha. So, hello. My name is BerryBerryGoldHeart. I am my VTuber, in case you can't tell. More temper hand usage there. I was gonna fly in my face or something. But that's okay. Today, it's just a quick little stream to make sure they work and doing things and show sort of what I'm doing. So, what are we doing? Okay, so I recently decided I am going to write, oh my gosh, maybe I'm going to write a story. Well, two, I'm gonna write two. And it's gonna upload them to RoyalRoad and it's gonna be great. So if you don't know what RoyalRoad is, you need to take a quick look over at the website of RoyalRoad. So okay. How we go? This is RoyalRoad. Is a website where you make stories and stuff. So the formatting is a little weird, and chapters tend to be pretty small on here. So yeah, now I'm gonna have to build a chapter thingy. What do you call a book page? A page books thing. The cover. A cover. Oh my. Yeah, I'm so good with words, I should be writing. Anyways, but yeah, so I'm gonna be making a book, and if you go down to the right section, they have a little area here, which is nice and dark and stuff for writing things. But at the same time, it's very limited space like that. I like having a full area for writing. But this tells you what we need, and if you want to write a story too, I'm gonna go ahead. That's what we like to do. Let's write stuff. It's fun. It's good. Do that. Big bow. But you do that stuff. You can choose files and things. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you should definitely use one. If you make one, you'll make a cover. It's not hard. You can make a really awful cover. I'll show you. We can make one real quick. It's an awfulest cover ever. We'll do that in a minute. And you'll need a title, so you need to know what your work's gonna be called, which is kind of annoying for emergent narratives, which I want to do an emergent narrative. So, this is the synopsis area. I don't know where you write. Yeah, here. See, slightly bigger, but still. Meh. And then here you go. You have your title, your synopsis, and your genres and tags. So genres, though, we have so many. I know there's a lot more out there and stuff. There really are. But yeah, so for us, ours is going to be I believe it'll be an adventure. Is it you put your cursor over it or click it? Yeah, cursor over this, and it tells you. Yeah, but like at the same time, it's not really what I want. And they don't have on this part of the kind of story just being chill. No, in fantasy. Yeah, we always look fantasy. Yep. There you go. So again, their genre's not so great. They could do with a few more in there to really get everything up there. Because there are genres where, like, nothing's happening. It's not a romance. It's not an action. It's just, people going about living in a city and stuff, which historical sort of gets, but it's not right. So yeah, I think we need just a few more of these, but hey, you know what? Cool. They're still good. I don't think contemporary covers it. No. So yeah, there you go. You gotta really change that a bit more. So yeah. Like, if I were to describe, for example, like laid back camp, Euro camp, I wouldn't call it romance. I wouldn't call it a comedy. You know, there's still stuff happening, but it's not a tragedy. It's not like an action story. It's a different kind of thing. And well, their genres don't have that. But tags, they get it. As you see, tags are where you find like some actual genres that aren't everywhere else. Like, I cannot pronounce this right for the life of me, but there you go. Yeah, like, you know, like the quest that Goku went on, which sure, it's done in an action format, but it's still that type of story. You know, and all of that good stuff. So for us, we do have a few tags here that I want to click. So the ones we want to click are non-human bleed, because we do have different characters, you know. Yeah. And then I just hit no on that one for right now, just because I think the tag might be weird, because the way our characters are, sure they're inhuman, but they might be close enough, so let's not just click that. And I'll tell you what I want to do. So, I don't want to hit any of the leads ones, because I'll get to it in a bit here. But we do have a few things that are interesting here. So we have high fantasy, which you definitely want to click. Yeah, own rules and stuff, you know, all that good stuff. Multiple lead characters, yeah. Boink. Reader interactive is one I want to do. Yeah, so that one is something I find important, because I want this to emerge and people to discover the world with the characters to discover the world. And I'll explain why I think that's important in a minute here for what I'm trying to do. I think we have slice of life here, y'all. But a slice of life action one is probably gonna be different than just the slice of life horror, you know. But there's also ones that don't fit any of the genres. So, yeah, I want to put horror on mine as well, just as a tag or psychological. I'm not doing that. Yeah. So dungeon. Not quite what we're going for here. So, there's gonna be progression, but not so much. There's gonna be a lot of just slice of life moments, but I don't know if that counts because of what we're doing here. There's a lot of things I'm not quite sure on. I hopefully can add more later or as it gets going. My villainous lead. One of my leads is going to be villainous. I don't know what we would go with our other ones here, but we'll see for a bit, and maybe you can help me out with that. What is lit RPG? What does that mean? Oh, okay, yeah, we're not putting those directly into the world, but that's still affecting it. You'll see in a moment. Strategy? Kind of part of it, yeah. Not a lot of stuff going on, but I don't... No, there probably will be some of that. We'll figure out more later as we go. Just do content warning. AI, no, we're not using any AI for this. Like, AI has its place and stuff, and I'm glad they put markers there for it, but we're not doing that with our story. You know, unless you count the fact that I built my own frickin' voice thing here, and it's got some server running and everything. If you count that, then sure, but that's not affecting the story. That's just the way I'm conveying it to you. Because, yeah, my voice has issues. But yeah, there we go. Now then, graphic violence, descriptions of yeah. Yep, that'll happen from time to time. It's not gonna be every chapter for sure, but the characters could die at any moment. That's just how it is, you know? And I'm just gonna keep it that way. Because I've read novels like that, and they were really interesting, and we did have it happen where it just felt like a roll of the dice, and now we have a new main character because ours is dead. You know, that happened. I was reading one of the War of Dragons, some are Reach of Dragon, some of the one of the dragon ones. It was a D&D adventure thing, and in the first book we were following this half. What was it? He was like a half flesh golem, and he was really interesting, really cool guy, this barbarian dude, and such morals. And then he just gets like, as before we even got to the Gold Dragon Lady, like he just gets, because that's what we were trying to get to. He gets massacred by like were-rats or something like that, or it was just after the were-rats. So it's been a long time since I read it. But he's just dead, and so we just continue on with the other characters who are there, and you know, the story progresses, and you're like, wow, shit, oh my goodness, that the guy was so BA, and he just got taken out like that. Like, I can't believe it. And we would lose other characters like that too throughout it, and there's just a wolf. Let's see here. I don't think we have any really profane characters who will be part of the main cast.
Extend clips to keep the action moving. Layer in missing
I am sorry, I have ads on right now because my YouTube thing doesn't have the thingy, but we're using the Dark Lo-Fi by Ill-Advised Records right now for BGM, because I don't have anyone else who said I could use the BGMs. Oh yeah. Look at that. Sensitive content: torture, slavery, substance abuse, mental illness, addiction, mentions of rape, self-harm, and yeah. Boom, we're gonna click a check on that. I mean, there's literally suicide demons and stuff that you can run into here, and things, all sorts of things to go wackadoodle. And you know, just demons in general are that way, and those are villains who will occasionally show up. So, woof. Among other things, so yeah. Best of come up. Not gonna be any glorification of that though, mind you. None of that. Probably won't have much of that. Unless some characters really get into that, but I don't think so. Well, let me see, I don't think so. Even so, I can skip over it and just mention the important parts. Like, I want to tell the story and let you know things are happening, but unless there's reason for that to be described and stuff, I'm really not gonna go into it. Just like, again, if someone's torturing somebody, I can just say they're torturing somebody, unless it's part of the scene and there's important elements going on in story with it. Then that's that. I own the content. I don't know what that means. Chapter title, chapter con. Okay, so we get there. Okay. Cool, so that's ready to go, I think. Let me check and see if anyone popped in. I don't think anyone's in the chat. Oh well. This is again just a thing, making sure that it works. Okay, so we're over here. This is the Google Dot, and it is bright AS. Oh my goodness. Checking a few things real quick. Boom, bomb, butcha, bomb, bomb, butcha, bomb, bomb, butcha, bomb, bomb. There. One moment. One of my group of friendos is asking me to link my channel. Interview. Okay, there we go. How do I do this? See, I know I figured this out. Okay, share. I figured it out. Okay. So then I can go over here. Okay. Just working on the story today, just want to know. Question. Just off. But so far, I think we're doing good. Alright, so up here, I'm gonna put a little note here. Notes and story intro / explanation. And story world intro / explanation. Yeah, because we're gonna have a little thing there to help us out when it comes to explaining this. So yeah, there we go. Meh. Anyways, let's take a look at what's written so far. And I know a bit of direction changes. Let's have two main characters to start with, and we'll see how their stories sort of go. You know, what's happened? Yeah, okay. I wish I could have this on, maybe I can. Let me try this out here. I can do. I can see the chat now. I can see chat. Meow. Okay, now that I can see the chat. What's that? Hello? What's up? Do you? That was weird. No. I didn't see the chat. No one in chat yet. Okay. Let's try. But let's go over this so we can get writing, because this is going to be a video, and I needed it to be a video of math. Okay. So. A quick note I put down was the things about sizes. A root knot equates to roughly 5 feet. The mush is roughly 2 feet. And a turnlet is roughly half a foot. And these are roughly because the measurements of feet and stuff, or meters and things like that, don't exist in the setting. And so I will not be utilizing the miler because I think it's more immersive. And that's really what I'm going with here. So what the heck is our setting? So, you know, but let's just write it down. So basically, we're gonna change this thing here. The story itself is based off my old GTRPG based settings and the aftermath of the adventures that took place within them. Bam. Blah! There we go. Yeah, purse. And look at this. The current adventure will be taking place simultaneously from two very different perspectives. That will be making choices their own that affect the narrative. Viewers will be able to help shape the narrative and decide the party perspectives and their group decisions, their group or individual decisions. And the two main parties will consist of, well, begin with the following characters. Gissa, Luchard, Zawa Merchant, / Dignitary, will lead the first party of good aligned characters. Woof. Okay. Now, yum. Yeah. Glory. Nexus. Again, we're Nexus. Or we're Art. It's so cute. I love us. Larry Nexus. Well, Larry Nexus. a human warlock by choice will lead the second party of evil aligned characters. How they, their groups, and the world at large interact and change over time will depend on, well, you can see here, reader decisions and behind the scenes rolls of the dice. Yeah. Okie dokie. There we go. I think that's cute. That does a good job of explaining. Okay. So perhaps that doing a nice job of just lowering the sheer amount of, like, brightness on the screen. I'm gonna just do that a little bit more and just scooch this. Just make that. Okay. Like this. Deeper in the middle here. Yeah, there we go. So it's a little more centralized. Okay. Okay. So we would have a paragraph sort of explaining here, so I'll just go with lore explanation paragraphs. Okay. Into calves and arms, only one side is allowed to have bombs. That's like making a soldier drop his weapon, shooting them and telling them to get to stepping. Obviously, Chapter 1. Sounds to me like that robbery extortion. Yes. You can't reform them. Yeah, Visa Richard. Oh, I spelled Visa instead of Visa. There we go. Is that gonna be a problem? My name being Visa? With, like, Visa being, I think it should have to be changed, like, Visali or something? I might have to do that, but it's so much like Vidvami, which is her species, and she's from the Zawa nation, so... Yeah, well... Yeah, not put that comma there. Just nurture that. Okay, Chapter 1. Mr. Butchard. So, okay. This is their introduction, and now a lot of people don't know what the races and other stuff, ethnic groups and all that in the world are. However, now I plan to get into that as we go. So, yay. Let me just check something real quick here. Is my slime working? It's still working. Okay, cool. Wow, it was working still. Okay. Let's see here. Here's what we got so far. Meow. I wasn't expecting this one of the songs to have so much words in it. Nah, but here we go. You will have a pleasant trip. No trouble will find you. The sallow woman told the baby tapir as she pet along its white stripes. Her voice was soothing, yet tinged with a quiet, held-at-bay cynicism. The baby animal was still dazed from the venom the poachers had used on it. The mother was not more than 3 root knots away, but surely it could wobble on over to its gray-bellied mom. She carefully directed the baby's head with an arm. The creature was the same size as her, after all. She made especially sure that it could clearly see the mother, before fully loosing her soft grip and letting the baby trundle out. We're gonna want to put a dash there so those don't get weird by reading it. Okay. A few other things I could use some editing, but I can edit all this world later. We're literally just doing this so we have the story come out. Bam, bam, bam. The tapir baby made it about halfway before tripping with a huff and failing to right itself. The mother made no sound, but approached, softly bopping the babe with her trunk and helping them to their feet. The Zala woman's glittering green eyes made sure to watch the pair, standing side by side now as they walked off over a small brook and disappeared into underbrush peaceably. The eyes made sure to watch the pair, also standing side by side. You don't need that word now there. As they walked off over a small brook and disappeared in the underbrush peaceably. It works so much better. That extra word there was making kind of weird. Who's high? Oh, right. This should be when we actually do this. Boom. And we hop over to another view. The remnants of the poacher camp were neatly bundled into fire pits, surrounded by stone, salvageable wares loaded up on a palanquin, and now properly recorded illicit goods in a lowered pit stacked between rows of firewood. The same Zala woman stood now upon a mossy boulder overlooking the 5 surviving poachers. They were each and every one wicked beings bound in a makeshift stock, but one among them was escaping justice. At least for now. 9 in total had survived the maneuvers her crew had employed, and now that all the required information was gathered, there is not left to do but pronounce judgment. She stood tall. Oh, I should say she stood as tall as a Zaula can. The setting suns at her back creating beams of multicolored light that spread over her form.
Teams can stay connected while they track updates.
My
and
goodness,
visualize timelines.
another
Asana, a smarter way to work.
advertisement.
Try it for free today at
Ugh.
asana.com.
Yeah.
Hit
Woof.
pause on whatever you're listening
That's
to
wackadoodle.
and hit play on your next adventure. Stay tuned
It's
nights
a
and get
double?
a $50 Best Western gift card.
Oh my
Life's a
goodness.
trip.
It's
Make
a
the most of it at Best
double
Western.
advertisement
Visit
on our sound.
bestwestern.com for complete
I
terms
need
and
to get a
conditions.
real BGM thing. I love listening to the dark lo-fi stuff, but you know, well, maybe one day I'll be able to afford something like that. Ooh. Anyway, let's go. Why? So, she stood as tall as a Zala can, the setting suns at her back creating beams of multicolored light that spread over her form. I mean, in accordance with law and justice, I, Representative Vissa Rootshine, hereby sanction the execution of these 8 criminals and their malgoods by practice of dread sorcery. Wait, with 5 up there and 8 here. Did I forget to update one of the numbers? Okay. And bye. It looks like I did forget to. Listen up. 9 in total had survived the manures. Each one look at the head out. What are the 9 in total? Just. Hey, criminals. Okay. Thought I read 5 in there somewhere. What the heck? Well, just thought she said the whole. We're looking the 5 surviving birds. There you go. Oh no. The 9 surviving approaches. After what? Then like Lord, yes. This is what happens, you know. You get some stuff going and you get confused and then you get going and stuff gets done. Okay, so there we go. Let's read it again. In accordance with law and justice, I, best we should have a comma, that Representative Vissa Rootshine, hereby sanction the execution of these 8 criminals and their malgoods by practice of dread sorcery. There we go. A terrible and wicked smile crossed the face of today's executioner, an elbow-horned Elena woman that wore a long coat formed of black leather straps. Her practicality, Claude, I said practicality, oh my gosh. Now someone's gonna make that mistake reading it to you. Her practically Claude, okay, let's do this, practically Claude. That'll help people prevent them reading that, because they'll see the next word as they go. Her practically clawed hand flipped upwards with a click. 8 blocks of black and pink flame. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so there you go. 8 blocks of black and pink flame bursting their way through the bound humans. Bound human criminals. There we go. We put that in this so people don't lose track of what races means there. The fires erupted down into their frames before exploding outwards and enveloping each of them in turn. The long pair of cuts down each prisoner's spine was set as the ignition point. In honor of traditions, Vissa didn't fully understand. Yes, there we go. Humans of Lothern and the Lona peoples of the region had agreements, many of them in fact, but they made little sense to her. The fact that the Varut, here we go, a position that acted much like a sheriff as far as she was concerned, was not allowed to carve a prisoner's spine and had to instead delegate to another Ilona, was strange. The reason had to be political. She certainly hasn't learned quite how yet. How? Comma yet, so we know how she is thinking about it. As the bodies of the men stopped writhing, the rest of the encampment caught dread flame in turn. Vissa stood over it all and admitted to herself the smell would be delicious if it weren't so dreadfully sad and terrifying. But kept a stern look fixed upon the only poacher that hadn't been burned to ash. She knew not what punishment that pink-haired human would face in her own lands, only that they would remember how stalwart she had been this day. Right, so that part pretty much gonna stay that way it is. So let's go ahead and put a big N there so we know we've made it through this section of story bit. And now over to here. It wasn't long until night had fallen proper. The last poacher had been boxed up for travel, and the entire crew sat around small campfires eating quietly. Vissa's group was the highest and most northern of the 3, consisting of herself, the 2 Alona women, and a singular human man in half-plate. To the east sat the rest of the albino spearmen in half-plate. In such garb. No armor. In the armor of Lothar. In the armor of Lothar. And the west held a small retinue of assembled militia and guardsmen, headed by a ranger she assumed was human, even though he bore no symbol of Lothar in itself. The west camp seemed to be downtrodden, but a few of them were taking turns telling stories. She could hear snippets from time to time. They tugged his coat, and the ridge fell out from under them. You put a little dash there, so we know that's a snippet. That's from a story about Nanara's husband, Sentinel that was said to once have roamed the valley. This had never seen any of the Sentinels said to live here, nor any half-giant, much less the rumored giantess Nanara herself. She wasn't sure the tales were true, so why not ask? She was in the company of those like herself who spent the majority of their lives in the deep depths. If she could talk to anyone about this without losing face, it'd be those around her now. As much as I like this, I am going to get rid of that, boom, and challenge her focus. Because as much as I think it's cool for her to be investigating that part of the world, I sort of want her to be more on the groups around her and getting that sort of built up for everybody. So, yeah. Let us see here. What, pray tell, should she talk about with them? So, so we give that bit of information that those characters exist and the stuff about them, and that she hasn't seen them. Laura. Perhaps we give another character a bit of time. You know what? Here we go.
Wasting my time?
However, let's see here. Before Missa could take her thoughts on the matter further. Thoughts on the matter. Is there? The... here we go.
Am I wasting my time?
Named of the Elona. Whoa. Whoa, man. Women. Spoke up. Yeah. What should she say? Well, I think it should go pretty fast and easy. And perhaps be about how Vissa handled herself, and not expecting that. That makes sense to me. Cadbert. Yes. No. Where? Yeah.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
What kind of doctor? I'm not sick.
Why?
Why are you wasting your time with me?
Am I?
Next thing second. Long.
At Pick and Save Pharmacy, Care is making things convenient so you
Yeah.
can shop and get alerts when your prescriptions are ready. Plus, our
Gotta say,
pharmacy
she's
helps
at
find
99.
prices by
It
accepting
doesn't
most
sound
prescription
quite
discount
like
codes.
the
Whether it's a weekday or
Alona
weekend,
way. You
our
might not know
pharmacy
who or
stays
what the
open during
Alona
evening
are.
hours to help you get what
So-
you need when you need it. That's convenience that works for everyone. Pick and
Basically,
Save
they're a
Pharmacy.
lot more
A world of care is in store.
militaristic
Services will
than
vary.
you.
Age and other restrictions may apply.
You
For
know
coverage,
what?
consult
I
your
know
health
what they would
insurance
talk
company,
to her
visit the pharmacy
about.
or our site for details.
I've got it. Good. Hey, I had no expectation for survival once combat broke out. Okay, there we go. That sounds a lot better. No expectation for survival once combat broke out. That feels good. I sent a little message to the people over here. I'm gonna see what else is going on. I don't think anyone's gonna pop into the chat, but I still have it there, just in case. Again, this is just a testing room. I didn't this is to give like, hey, it'll be tomorrow at blah blah. No, this is me make sure it works. And so far, it's working, which is pretty darn cool. Schwugga-bugga-ba. So, meow meow meow. Yes, see here. And now herself, let the taker's haunts in the matter further. Below no woman spoke up. with no expectation of your survival once combat broke out. Good time. Okay, let's see here. And directed a half-raised arm towards Vissa. And no exaggeration Frava once combat broke out. The half-raised arm across the fire towards Vissa. Let alone that you were capable of taking the life of an actual combatant. Let's go that. Did we finish the lo-fi hip-hop beats? Yeah, why is it paused? I don't understand that. Nah, so back to RoyalRoad. We'll have? Nah. Ah. Oh, wow, yes, iron testing the chip. Hello, I'm happy. Yeah. Jump things are working. I shall talk to them. Hello. I am not capable to do those things separate yet, but it's nice to be able to do them. Okay, so we are all over the place. Okay. Right. So what we are working on right now is a discussion between our character, Avissa Rootshine, and those around her. Now, these are not her main party. They're not her main group that she hangs out with. She normally hangs out with a bronzeling named Zuno, who is basically her shield guardian. And this, you don't know what bronzeling means yet, but it will come up and you will learn as the story goes. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then she has two Fae. Thank you so much. I'm so happy I'm doing good. Yay! And that is working. That is really the big thing. How do I get this? So yeah, the other two that she hangs out with, Avissa does, is a pair of dream creatures who are called Nurbles. Like Nurble. I spell it real quick. Nurble. Oh, what's happening here? It didn't. Nurble. Absolutely, that's how it's spelled. N-E-R-B-L-E. Nurble. So they're Nurbles, and it's super cute, and I love them. And we will get to those too. So what's funny is that they're the big ones. Like, they're like 3.5 to 4 feet tall at the shoulder, or well, hip, I guess, and whatnot. And they look a lot like Q-birds, but different kinds of Q-birds. That's just a good way of describing it. Or nerds from, like, you know, the little nerds candies. Look a lot like those. Really bizarre at the same time. And they're gonna be fun once we get to them. And but yeah, so she hangs out with those two, and and her bronzeling who's with her. And she has, when she's at the village and stuff, which we'll get to a different chapter here, she does have a husband and she has kids, so we'll get to see them too. But she's normally traveling about with a bronzeling, the two dream creatures, and then going out doing work with whoever she's with and the people are hiring. So right now it's like Lothar and people and stuff. So right now is really one of the only times we're getting a Vissa Rootshard without her little group of people around her. Like, no one here is someone who's been with her for years or anything. So that's really neat. Thank you, Sarah. I'm doing awesome. I appreciate it. I'm glad I can see the chat now. And it's working. It's an alive actual combatant. Okay. Alright, I think whatever I did here to make it like go circular, I want to fix. I want to just not have this. Just do that for now. Okay. Whew. There we go. It's not centered right now. Oh my goodness. What about me? Loud. Okay. Just make that off of or press the fire twice. Twist it then on. It's on it. Zala woman. No, I feel like we're saying that a lot. So let's go with this. Quit changing it to Visa. Undo that. Don't ever autocorrect me. Why is it autocorrecting? I always have that off. What the meow? I hate autocorrect so much. It really is just such a always choose the wrong words. It makes me so mad. Okay. Oh. Besides the point. We're getting back into this. Let's do it. I might have to change your name. Oh my goodness. I had to add like an L or something to it, or call her like, I don't know, Visami or something, with Visas. Visathara. I thought I don't know. What am I gonna do about that? Why? And so close to that. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. I'm glad things are working, except for my hands, they're having issues, but yeah, let's go. Luckily I'm at keyboard at the computer, so it's going a lot better. We're just, we was at most half the size of the human spearman. Definitely smaller still in comparison to either of the Alona. Check air, deep breath. You think that loud. Before responding. Was this a film that fell?
This movie's got great reviews. You settled in with your mom to watch together on the couch. But Fantasini's scene starts a real juicy part, and you see things you will never talk about. We can't help you, but we can give you Mentos.
She would check groups. She would specify. What?
Mentos, the fresh maker.
Advertising snagging. I need a real BGS. If anyone knows how to get good BGN saying doesn't have commercials and stuff, please let me know. I would love to call out whoever stuff I get to use too and say thank you for using it. Right now we're using ill-advised records and their dark lo-fi for what we do with music. Ooh, why do they call them? I don't remember the name. So, probably one thing. Unlike other, she doesn't say group, she would probably specify what they are. And that's what I'm trying to remember. What's the name of it? As Vidvami have clans, and they have, the clans are more like individual, where you get like the last name stuff, but they fit within a larger system, which I guess is still called bands. Yeah, I guess so. The bands of, so she's like re-solidified my one thing, unlike other bands have been vomiting. B, do not believe slavery of any form. Recruiting, punitive. There we go. Have words. Okay. Colder than the night air. Getting straight to the point. Filtered and punitive. Good. If I should describe the Lona woman, I'll just right now say that she's younger. That young mother with her nodded her head. Understanding the deeper
I wish that music would
Nolan.
stop. It's so awful. What music?
to
I
anyone
can't hear it either.
who knew the state of the deep depths themselves. A lack of slavery in such a form could only be achieved through
Lately, at night when it gets quiet,
the
I can hear it.
slaying
That music
of one's enemies.
sounds so horrible. And the melody is creepy. It makes me anxious.
Why? Okay.
Feeling
I gotta switch this one. I'm sorry. They gotta switch it. Saying the music is so horrible. I'm trying to listen to good music. Alright. I think I gotta call it here for now, but this is a good test. I'm getting some calls, some other things are happening around me. But thank you all for joining me. This is a very short one. I really appreciate you all. I'll catch you on the next video. I'm gonna like to say thank you in the chat. For joining me. Turbo. I mean, called out the wazoo. Alright.